Hi, I'm Bambi DeVille, and welcome to Seduction Astrology. A little bit about me if you're new to my channel. My journey with astrology started when I was very young. I was fascinated by the stars, the planets, and the mystery of how they seemed to mirror our lives. What began as curiosity became a passion, and over the years, it turned into a lifelong study. You can contact me at bambidevilleastrology@gmail.com. For me, astrology has never been just about daily horoscopes. It's about awareness of who we are and what drives us and how we connect with others. I believe that if people just become aware of what astrology has to offer, it can open doors in ways that they never expected. It's not about predicting the future, it's about understanding yourself better. When you look into your chart, you see your strengths, your challenges, your desires, and even the patterns you may repeat in relationships. The self understanding is powerful because when we know ourselves, we can grow, we can mature, we can expand our consciousness. Astrology gives us a mirror. And I use that term often because truly, when we look at our charts and we learn to read it, we start to see ourselves with more clarity and compassion. So it doesn't stop with self awareness. Astrology also helps us to understand our partners, our friends, and even our families. It gives us a language to recognize why someone may act the way they do and what they need to feel loved and how they express that love back. I grew up with five sisters, and I just always remembered my mother saying, "My daughters are all so different. It's so interesting." And when I discovered astrology at a young age, it was because my mother had this really great library. And I started to study astrology, numerology, and all of the esoteric occult sciences because she had this amazing library. And it fascinated me to look at charts of my sisters. And it got me really inquisitive about, my friends and just getting to know people through their charts. I found it fascinating. When I was in high school, I had an astrology column in the high school newspaper, and I would do couples and friends do their compatibility charts. So here I was already 14 years old doing charts for people and calling myself an astrologer. It was so much fun. The self understanding is really powerful because when we know ourselves, we can grow, we can mature, we can expand our consciousness, as I said before, and it doesn't stop at self awareness. Again, instead of judging each other, though, astrology invites us to accept, to see ourselves, our differences as unique expressions of energy. Maybe your partner needs more freedom, or maybe they need more stability. When you know their chart, it's less of a mystery and you can meet them where they are. Oh, that's why I created this channel. Seduction astrology is about more than attraction, it's about intimacy, understanding, and the deeper currents that pull us together. I would love to help you use astrology not only to decode your relationships, but to honor who you are in them. I will be doing videos on how to read charts and what aspects you're looking for in your chart and in your lover's charts to simplify it for you and help you figure it out. And of course, I'm here if you need help. Because the truth is, when you love and understand yourself, you can love and understand others in a more genuine way. And that's the energy that I want to bring here: awareness, self appreciation, and connection. So, learning about ourselves is one of the most important journeys we can take because, well, true growth begins with self acceptance. Astrology is not here to judge us, it's here to reveal us, to show us our patterns, our strengths, our flaws, not so we can deny them, but so that we can love ourselves as we are while we grow into who we are meant to be. When we understand ourselves, something beautiful happens and we begin to understand others. We see our partners, our friends, and our families, as I've said, not as puzzles to fix, but as souls that we are learning from. And suddenly, even our challenges become sacred. The places where friction becomes the fire of transformation. And we wouldn't change each other because the lessons we learn through love, through struggle, through connection are the very lessons that expand our hearts. Loving someone as they are, loving ourselves as we are, accepting them and accepting ourselves. This is why I created Seduction Astrology. It's relationship synastry. This is a space for love, for compassion, for learning how to see yourself and those you love through the wisdom of the stars. Learning about ourselves is one of the most important journeys we can take because real growth, lasting growth, begins with self acceptance. That's my motto. So, astrology, again, it's not telling us about who we must be, it's about showing us who we already are. It holds up a mirror not to criticize, but to illuminate, to reveal our patterns, our gifts, our shadows, and our desires. So, when we study a chart, we do learn to see the truth that every flaw we've judged in ourselves is about also a doorway into wisdom and knowledge. That every strength we've celebrated is something we're meant to share. Astrology invites us to embrace both, knowing that we are not meant to be perfect. We are meant to be whole. And when we begin to understand ourselves, something beautiful happens. We soften. We grow kinder, not only to our own hearts, but to the hearts of others. So we see our partners and friends not as mysteries that confuse us, but as mirrors that reflect lessons we are here to learn. Because the truth is, relationships are not accidents. The people we love, and even the people who challenge us, are often the very ones who help us evolve. So, through astrology, we learn that love is not about changing someone else. Again, it's about understanding them. It's about realizing that even the conflicts, the friction, the struggles carry seeds of growth, that we wouldn't, trade those lessons because they are the very fires that shape us into who we are becoming. This is why I do this work. This is why I've always done readings, why I've studied the stars, like I said, since I was young, because to me, astrology is not a hobby, it's a calling, it's a gift, it's a responsibility. Well, astrology is a gift from the universe to us. It's a way to sit with someone's story and reflect it back with care so they can see themselves more clearly. And that's what I'd like to help you do. Begin to love yourselves more fully. I created Seduction Astrology as a space for this kind of awareness. So, yeah, it's playful and passionate because love and seduction are joyful mysteries. But it's also soulful because at the core, it's about intimacy with yourself, with your lover, with the world. So, here we will explore the signs of attraction, the way that our Venus and Mars placements reveal desires, how our moon signs show us what we need to feel safe and loved. We'll look at compatibility not as a verdict, but as a map for deeper compassion. Because the more we understand ourselves, the more capable we are of truly seeing the people we love. And when we can see them not as broken, not as flawed, but as whole souls walking their own paths, we can love them without conditions. And that's the purpose of this channel, to use the wisdom of astrology to deepen love, to spark connection, and to remind you that the stars are not chains. They're constellations, points of light that guide us, but always leave room for us to choose our own way. So if you're ready to know yourself more deeply, here we are. And even before I knew the language of astrology, I knew one thing. And when I looked at a chart, I felt like I was looking into a mirror. And I use that term often because honestly, that's what I see when I look at a chart. It's a reflection of who I am. And that's really what astrology has always been for me, not a crystal ball to tell the future, but a mirror to show the truth of who I am, who we are. So here's the beautiful part. Okay, so we know astrology is not here to judge us, it's here to reveal us, to show us our patterns, our strengths, our desires, our shadows, not so we can deny them, but so we can love ourselves as we are while we grow into who we're meant to be. As I've said, our destiny. And that's why I created Seduction Astrology. So, when we're talking about what a mirror does, it reflects you back to yourself. It doesn't change you, it doesn't make you better or worse. It just shows you what's already there. Astrology is the same. Your chart doesn't tell you who you must be, it shows you who you already are. The sun signs reveal your core identity, the moon, your emotional world, Venus, your style of loving, Mars, your desires, Saturn, your lessons, Jupiter, your gifts. And when you put them all together, you start to see yourself clearly. And I will be analyzing the combinations and aspects between planets to clarify this message and to help you see what I'm talking about if you do a comparison chart between yourself and anyone else in your life. So, where astrology gets really powerful, again, it's not that it only shows us what we like about ourselves, it shows us the parts, that we've been running from, the patterns we repeat and love, the shadows we judge. So maybe you've told yourself you're too sensitive. Maybe you've judged your passion as too much. Maybe you've wondered why you always fall for the wrong type of person. Astrology says none of this makes you broken, it makes you human. That's the gift of this mirror. When we can see our flaws with compassion, we stop trying to erase them and instead begin to understand them. Every flaw we've judged in ourselves is also, again, a doorway to wisdom. Every shadow has a gift side. Every strength we've celebrated is something we are meant to share. That's why I love astrology, because it teaches us that we're not here, to be perfect. We're here to be whole. We're here to be us. So here's the secret. It's not really a big secret, but when you truly understand yourself and you see your chart not as a prison, but as a poem and something very graceful, something beautiful happens. So, growing kinder, as I've said, not only to your own heart, but to the hearts of others, you realize if I'm learning and growing through my flaws and desires, then maybe so is everyone else. And that's again, suddenly when judgment begins to melt into compassion. Wow. So, when we talk about self understanding, I mean, it sounds simple, almost cliche, know yourself. But here's the truth, most of us spend years running from ourselves. We work hard to hide what we think are our flaws. And sometimes, we even deny our gifts. As an actor, one of the things that has become so evident is those flaws that we judge, we as people, even actors, individuals judge ourselves for. Those become our strengths. Those become the beautiful things about us that stand out. When I look at someone that I really love and I hear them criticize themselves and I think, "Oh my gosh, that's something about them that has made them so unique and so different for me." It just makes me embrace their differences more. So, astrology doesn't let us hide, right? It shines a light on everything, the beauty, the chaos, the contradictions. And here's the blessing, when we see ourselves clearly, we finally realize that growth doesn't come from denying who we are. So, let me give you an example. Say your moon is in Taurus. Now, that's a placement that craves stability, comfort, and sensual pleasures. I know this because my moon is in Taurus, but, also because I study all the moon signs. So, someone with this moon may sometimes feel lazy or be judged for needing more time to feel secure. But the truth is, this moon is a gift. It teaches patience, loyalty, and the ability to create a home that feels safe and beautiful. What others may call slow, astrology reframes as steady. Okay, or maybe your Venus is in Scorpio. Now, that can feel really intense. Relationships may be deep, magnetic, sometimes dramatic, but that intensity is also sacred. It means you're here to experience passion that transforms. You're not wired for shallow love, and that's not a flaw. It is definitely part of your destiny. Again, I'm using my own sign as an example. I am a Venus in Scorpio. So we're redefining this shift. Every placement has a shadow, but every shadow carries a gift. Your stubbornness might actually be your perseverance. You get it? Your oversensitivity is also your intuition. Your restlessness is also your drive for adventure. Astrology gives us permission to stop fighting ourselves, to stop trying to be who we think we should be, and instead embrace who we already are. And when that happens, when you can look at your chart and say, yes, that's me, and I'm allowed to be me, you discover something profound. You are not here to be perfect. Again, I will reiterate, you are here to be whole. Wholeness, my loves, is far more beautiful than perfection could ever be. So, here is where astrology becomes even more magical because once we begin to understand ourselves, we obviously we begin to understand others, our relationships with them, and this is where seduction astrology comes alive. Relationships are not accidents, as I've said, but bigger than that. I love this. They are classrooms for the soul. Think about the people you've loved, the ones who've broken your heart, the ones who made you feel alive, the ones who drove you crazy. Every single one of them was a teacher. Every connection was a lesson. So, astrology shows us what kind of lessons we're likely to attract. Maybe your chart shows that you need partners who challenge your independence, or maybe you're drawn to people who push you to trust more deeply. When we see this in our own charts, suddenly our relationships make sense. Instead of saying, why do I always attract this type? Astrology says, okay, here's the pattern, here's the curriculum. And now that you see it, you can choose differently. And I'll give you other examples. So, if your partner has a lot of fire, so when we do discuss the elements, this is an important part of a person's energy. Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, they need freedom, passion, and excitement. They may not thrive in routines. And that's not because they don't care, it's because their energy burns brightest when they feel alive and they don't feel confined. And if your partner has strong water, Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces, they need emotional depth. So vulnerability, safety, they may need reassurance, not because they're weak, but because they're sensitive to the undercurrents of love. They're very passionate emotionally. If your partner is heavy in earth, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, they crave stability, responsibility, and trust. They want to know you're reliable. And when they feel secure, they will move mountains for you and be the most loyal lovers you could ever imagine. Lovers, partners, friends. If they're an air sign, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, that's me. I'm a Libra. They need communication, freedom of thought, and curiosity. They may not show love in traditional ways, but they keep love alive through conversation, ideas, and playfulness. So, do you see how this affects and changes everything? So, instead of saying, why aren't you more like me? We learn to say, I see you. I understand you. I can meet you where you are. This really helps me as an astrologer with my friendships and my relationships. And this is seduction at its highest form, not manipulation, but intimacy, not control, but connection. Even our conflicts become sacred. So like, that intense, fiery argument, it may be the fire that transforms you both. That moment of distance, it may be the lesson that teaches you trust. Through astrology, we realize love is not about changing someone else. It's about understanding them. And when you understand them, you don't have to force love, you allow it. Again, this is why I've created Seduction Astrology. The intimacy, the synastry of relationships, and also helping people understand their relationships, but why astrology is important. And again, I will be informing, teaching, helping you see your chart, look at your chart, and kind of get it. But also, more importantly, with the synastry and seduction astrology, if you have your partner's chart or friend's chart, maybe someone that you're having some issues with, nobody wants to walk on eggshells in a relationship, but understanding them might create some acceptance for you where you can just kind of sit back, observe, take a deep breath. For me, the work has never been about signs or just compatibility charts. It's about the deeper truth, that attraction, the love, the intimacy. Those are sacred invitations to know ourselves more deeply. And as I've said, I've been reading charts since I was very young, long before I had the right words for why it mattered. I only knew that when I looked at someone's chart, something lit me up. Not because astrology promised perfect answers, but because it gave me a way to listen, to really listen to myself and to others. And over the years, I learned that astrology is, yes, a mirror, but also a map. The mirror shows us who we are beneath the masks. The map shows us where our patterns tend to lead toward love or away from it, towards courage or back to fear. And when you can see the pattern, you have a choice. And that choice, again, is freedom. Freedom to be yourself and freedom to allow others to be themselves unconditionally. And this is why I call it seduction astrology, because seduction isn't just about attraction. It's about drawing closer to yourself, closer to the truth, closer to the people you love, not in fantasy, but in reality. So yeah, again, this channel will be playful. We're going to talk about Venus signs, Mars signs, how to seduce each zodiac. But beneath the play is something soulful, a belief that at the heart of seduction is compassion, because when you understand someone, you don't need to change them. You can love them exactly where they are. So here's my promise to you. This channel isn't about labeling people or telling you who you can or cannot be. It's about acceptance, right? It's not about boxes, and I will say it is about bridges, bridging the gaps between your understandings of yourself and the people in your life. If I can help you look at your chart and say, that's me, I'm allowing myself to be me, well, then I'm doing my job. And if I can help you look at someone you love and say, I understand you better now, I can meet you where you are, then the work is sacred. Because self understanding is not self indulgence, it's self respect. It's the moment you stop calling your sensitivity too much and you start calling it your compass. It's the moment you recognize your passion, not as a flaw, but as a fire to guide you. If I can help you see your own chart and say, that's me, I'm allowed to be me, again, this is my job. So, I don't claim this to be a hobby. I hold it as a calling and an ability to sit with someone's story and reflect it back with care. My purpose here is simple: to help you become more intimate with your own life and more compassionate with the lives intertwined with yours. So, if you're here to fix a relationship or to heal an old pattern or to finally make peace with the person you see in the mirror, welcome. I'm honored to walk this little path with you. We'll use the stars, not as chains, but as constellations, a roadmap that points the points of light that help us navigate, if you will. Because when we understand ourselves, we understand and we love ourselves, and we love ourselves and we love better. And that's the work, that's the promise, and that's why I'm here. And I would love to help you with your chart. I'm very accessible. You can email me at bambidevilleastrology@gmail.com. You can even text me. My phone number's everywhere on the internet if you Google it. If you want a short reading, if you have a question, I'm very accessible, very affordable. I am not here to make this something that is inaccessible for people who really care. I am here to connect with you because this is what I love to do. Again, Bambi DeVille in New Orleans. Thank you for listening. Check out my channel. It's going to be so much fun. It's new. I'm having so much fun creating this channel and posting all the different aspects in charts and discussing all the different aspects with personalities and relationships. And I'm really looking forward to exploring more with you and introducing you to the importance of the astrological map that is you, and to also introduce you to other things maybe that you don't know about, like astrocartography, which is the astrology of where you live when you were born. It's a real thing, y'all. I'm not kidding. I also do numerology. I love doing numerology for people, but my passion in numerology is baby names. And I have named, I would say, I think 6 of my nieces and nephews, and it's thrilling to see them thriving with this other thing that, this other tool that their parents allowed me to help them give them before they were born, so we could sort of set up a little bit of a universe support system for the child, right? So numerology is another one of the things that I love to do. And I'm looking forward to hearing from you, and I'm looking forward to having you leave comments on my videos in my channel. I'm going to have short and long videos, and I'm really looking forward to meeting more of you. I've been doing readings for over 25 years. So some of you already know me. I've already done readings for you, charts, um, other types of readings. I also do, tarot and other things, which we'll, be talking about on the channel. But most importantly, thank you for being here. Again, you can email me at bambidevilleastrology@gmail.com and reach out and just ask questions. If you are interested in knowing anything at all, I'll give you any information that you need. I'm here to help. Thanks again for listening, and come back and subscribe and like my videos. Most importantly, comment. I really want to know what you think about what I'm doing, because this work is so important to me. And when you've discovered, if you haven't yet, it's thrilling. It's really, really, really thrilling. So have a great rest of your day. Thanks again. And don't forget to come back to Seduction Astrology. And please, if you've heard anything in this podcast that makes you question anything at all, please reach out. Thanks again. Have a great day.